Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlilhu fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah la nabiyya wa la rasula ba'da. Amma ba'd. Okay guys, morning everyone.
Morning sir.
Okay, today I will be your teacher of the day, and I will bring you my material overpopulation. And in this material, we will understanding its causes, impacts, and solutions. Okay. First, what is overpopulation? The definition of overpopulation is overpopulation occurs when the number of people exceeds the capacity of the environment to sustain them with the adequate resources. So, if in CDA, the maximum of population only, for example, 2 millions of people that can fit the city, it means, and then the true situation of the population in the CDA is 10 million, for example, but the capacity is only for 2 million. It means the CDA is experiencing overpopulation, like so. And then key facts: the global population is surpassed 8.2 billion in 2024, and developing countries are more likely to face overpopulation issues due to high birth rates and resource constraints. Now, these developing countries was like Indonesia, then India, if I'm not mistaken. Is it India still a developing country?
More developed than Indonesia.
Yes, like so. In fact, Indonesia is a developing country. And also Indonesia is also having overpopulation. You know, especially in Jakarta. Jakarta is already has overpopulation because the environment was crowded enough. Next, causes of overpopulation. First, high birth rates. In some regions, birth rates exceed death rates. For example, in CDA, the birth rates is 25%, but at 25% a day. But death rates of the CDA is 20%. So it means the birth rates exceed the death rates. So the number of people that giving birth was exceed the death rate. So the impact will be the CDA will be overpopulated. And then lack of education. Poor education, especially for women, leads to higher birth rates. Why this can occur overpopulation? Because woman is the one who giving us birth. For example, our mom. So if women got poor education, it can lead to higher birth rates because they cannot take care of themselves. And also, the men also can be guilty for these issues because the man also cannot take care of his lust, like that. And then urbanization. Urbanization is migration to cities. Migration to cities increases population density in certain areas. So urbanization is a group of people that move to city from their village, like so. So it is some like migration, but from lower population to higher population, or lower environment to higher environment, like so. This migration to cities increase population density in certain areas. For example, Jakarta. a lot of other region that move to Jakarta just for searching better life. But in fact, this urbanization causes overpopulation in Jakarta. Next, impacts of overpopulations. First one is social. Overcrowding in urban areas leads to poverty, poor sanitation, and traffic congestion. If you are Jakarta people, maybe you experience this all, except maybe poor sanitation, maybe, because traffic congestion is what we feel the most. If you are in Jakarta, maybe you will have no day without traffic congestion, except car-free day or CFD, because there's no car, so there's no traffic congestion. Also, if you not use your private transportation, and if you use the public transportation, it also happens traffic congestion, like crowded in the train. Do you ever feel like that? Yes. Crowded in the train? Yes. Does it feel good? No. Sometimes it can be smell, and sometimes it can be what? And then environmental. The impacts of overpopulation can occur deforestation for housing and agriculture, and then increased carbon emissions and pollution, and loss of biodiversity. For example, if we know IKN, the new capital city of Indonesia, that in Kalimantan, the impacts of making new capital city in Kalimantan, it occurs deforestation for housing and agriculture, and also it can happen loss of biodiversity, like orangutan lost their home, so they migration to village, and then deforestation for housing and agriculture. A lot of forests in Kalimantan was devastated, like what Usama mentioned last week. That is the impact. And then economic. Competition for resources like water, food, and energy, higher unemployment rates in densely populated areas. If we know, as I mentioned before, Indonesia was one of example of overpopulation country. In Indonesia, college was make a million of what? How to say sarjana, sir? Yes. What produce a million bachelors in a year or in a month? I forgot. If I'm not wrong, in a month. Sorry, in a year. In a year. Yes. College produce a million bachelors in a month, but what the job demand in a month only has 500,000 of capacity. So it means there's a half of bachelors that will not have a job demand, because the gap is very huge. The gap between the supply and the request is very huge, like 50%. That's very huge. That is the higher unemployment rates in densely populated areas. Next. Then this is the real world examples. First one, India. India currently world's most populous country, and what's the effect? It has poor sanitation and high unemployment rates. And then the second one, Sub-Saharan Africa. It has high birth rates, and it also has limited access to education and healthcare. So it also has a high death birth rates, but the birth rates is exceed the death rates. The next one is China. Last year, I forgot what year. China enforced the one-child policy to control population growth in the past. So China, before, if I'm not mistaken, it is the world's most populous country, if I'm not mistaken. And for controlling the population growth, the government of China enforced the one-child policy. So if you have two child, one child will be slay. So you have to choose what child you will slay, the first one or the second one. It's very annoying facts. And the solution. First, we talk from the beginning. The causes this high birth rates. To control high birth rates, there are some ways, and the extreme ways is like China to enforce one-child policy, and the other ways is to give a good education, especially for women, to keep themselves and to change their mindset about life, and it will have a big impact for our birth rates. And then urbanization. The solution for urbanization is maybe I think the government should have done better work for the village, the other city except Jakarta or Jabodetabek, for make their life become better. And then next we will have guess the picture. First one, who can guess what it is? Ah, yes. Come here. What picture is it?
Overpopulation. Population. Population.
Yes, overpopulation. Congrats. Later, the reward in our dorm. And then this, what is it? No, it's not pour water. Anyone knows? What is it? Huh? No one? Clean water? Yes, it's a clean water, but I mean, what is it? The vocabulary I have mentioned before, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, sir, a good sanitation. It's a good sanitation. And then what is it? No. Yeah. Yes, it's a deforested area. And this last one? Yes, but the vocabulary was in the previous slides. For? Yes. It's a like education, especially for women. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you very much for having your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.